All right, now y'all were asking a question. The question you asked was the same question that the 120 asked. And there's what I put. The mandatory thing that you need to put, in other words, the minimum for me, is the candidate data. In other words, you're going to give me two charts. You're going to give me a Republican chart, whether it's a pie chart or a bar chart, and a Democratic chart. Well, the Democratic chart's going to be pretty easy because it's going to be pretty much half, probably. Now, in South Carolina, it's pretty much going to be for Hillary. Why? More minorities. More minorities and more, well, basically more minorities. New Hampshire, the minority vote was not that high, and in South Carolina, it's going to be higher, and it's going to be for Hillary. And that means all the minorities, especially Latino, because of the immigration thing. But with the Republicans, you're probably going to see, a certain amount for Trump and a certain amount for Cruz. That's probably number one and number two. I don't know which order, but the polls say that Trump is. Like 10-point lead, 11-point lead. That was the last poll. So it's probably going to be something like that. But that's what I want. Now, if you want to do a bar chart, if you want to do men versus women bar chart for both, you can do that. That's up to you how you want to do it. But that's the minimum for me, is I want that. Now, I also want you to do something of your choice. So that means if you want to do a bar chart on how men vote and how women vote, that's up to you. What does that mean, Hubert? Well, let's say that you want to do, for the Democrats and Republicans, you want to see how women vote and men vote. So you will take your stacks of paper and you'll divide them into Democrat and Republican. And then you'll take your Republican stack and you'll separate them, men and women. And then you'll do Democrat men and women. Well, the Democrat men and women is not going to be hard to do because there's only two candidates. So that's not going to be hard to do. The Democrats get them out of the way. Count the men, how many voted for, out of, let's say you've got 50 people that are Democratic. You've got 50 people. And 30 of them are men and 20 of them are women. So you separate them into two piles. And out of the 30 men, 20 are going to vote for Bernie Sanders and 10 are going to vote for Hillary. And that's normal because men can't stand Hillary. Okay? So not many men are going to vote for Hillary in a all men setting. So you got 20 voting for Bernie and 10 voting for, so you're going to put that in a graph. And it'll be blue bar graph for men through 20. And then over here you'll have women and you'll do the women vote. And you could do it that way. And let's say you had 20 women, then be split because not many women are going to vote for Hillary. Okay? That's what they were saying last night. The people that voted for Bernie are all young men and women. The people that voted for Hillary are old people over the age of 50 and older people over the age of 50 and people that make more than $2 million a year. Really? No comment. All right, so that's how you do that. For the Republicans, you'll go through and divide it up into two groups, men and women, and then you'll count how many people voted for Trump in the men, how many voted for him. So it's going to be longer for now. Let me ask you this: what if you wanted to vote? What if you wanted to just go with the top four candidates? That's fine. If you wanted to go with the top four versus New Hampshire, let's say you wanted to go with Trump, Cruz, Rubio, and what's his name? Jail. All right? If you wanted to go with those top four, then you can do that. But you'd have to throw away some. And I don't want you throwing away any. So if you wanted to put all of them, that's up to you. So you divide it up into men and women. So the men, let's say you had 70 men and 30 women. And 70 men, 40 voted for Trump, 20 voted for Cruz, 5 voted for Rubio, and 5 voted for whatever. And you put that in a bar chart. And then you put the women in a bar chart. And then you could see how many people voted for, what, and that's how it broke down. So that's one thing you could do. What if you wanted to do socioeconomic? You could do that. What would you do? Well, you put it in, again, 2 stacks, Republican, Democrat, and then you go over here and you have to separate all your paper in the classes. So 15,000 to 19,000, 20,000 to 24,000, 25,000 to 29,000, 30,000, and so on. And then go in there and see how they voted. And then you would put it in a chart. Women, Democrats, the same thing. Put it in 5 piles and see who they voted for. That may show you something. So one thing is mandatory, and that's the top one. The second one, there's only 2 things. And you can put 3 or 4 things in there if you want to. That's just more points. I'm not going to give you 100 if you, I'm going to give you a good grade if you do 2. But the more things you do, and the better organized it is, the more points you're going to get toward that 100. Okay? Most people are going to make a 70 or better on this. All you got to do is turn in something. Now, if it's just a bunch of papers or a bunch of scribble lines, that's not going to be a 70. But, if it has content, if it has some depth to it, then yes, anything, most people get a 70 or above. Okay?
Do you want to turn in all the surveys?
No. I want you to turn in a survey so I can see what kind of questions.
Okay.
And then probably a survey or however you tallied. I want to see how you tallied, how you got your, you can write that up. I broke up into 2 groups. You could do just a brief telling me what you did, and then your results, and then your prediction. I want to know your prediction. Now, with the president thing, I not only want an amount, I want a percentage. I want 62 out of 100, and that's 62%. The reason is Miss India, she has 112. So I need to know that, because when I do the tally before the Republican primary for the whole class, if y'all each do 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 800 people. That's a good sample. I'd like to put it on the board and let's see what 800 people say. And let's remember that and see what happens with the primary. And see if the mathematics don't lie. Okay? So I want you to put on your research, I want you to put, or your product or your graph, I want you to put the percent, and then I want you to put how many out of how many. Now you can do that over here on a frequency. You can say Trump, 62 out of 100, or 112. And then you could say Bush, or not Bush, Cruz, 20 out of 112. I need that somewhere so I can add that to the tally for the whole class. Because not everybody is doing 112. Some people are doing 70, some people are doing 30, some people are doing 100. So I need to know that. Okay? Because I'm going to take these things and put them up on the board, the numbers, I'm going to put them up on the board that day. So we can get a good result.
When is it due?
Thank you. Wait a minute. I thought the primary was on the 20th. Well, let me see. That was based on y'all telling me that it was on the 20th, 27th. I thought it was on the 20th. Let me look it up right quick. Oh gosh, somebody looked up the wrong one. That's why I need to do things myself. Republican, South Carolina, Republican primary. I'm just clicking on something. I don't know if it's going to tell me or not. What? Date for South Carolina Public Employment. February 20th. No, that's when so we need to have it. What's the Wednesday before that 20th? Somebody look. 17th. 17th. Which y'all been working on it a week, so it's not like you just started working on it. And if you just started working on it, then whose fault is that? Hubert's fault, right? Yes, Bush's fault. There you go. Now you're learning. Whenever something don't go your way, you blame it on Bush. All right. So, anybody got questions? Now let's talk about it, because I talked about it in the first class, and we'll talk about box plots and stuff. We've already talked about that in here. I think I've covered pretty much everything in here. But who's got questions about anything on their survey? Let's open that up. Anybody got any more questions? Yeah. How many you got so far? How many classes you gonna be able to do, or work? How many is that gonna give you?
I have 4. I have biology.
Are they gonna let you do it in there, or?
I have.
Okay. Well, you need to at least get above 30. I think you said you were doing all your classes, right?
Yeah, I got another class.
Okay. Well, like I said, it doesn't take very long. All you got to do is find a class. The minimum is 30. Of course, the less you do, the worse your data's going to be. So, 100 for one person in a week, 100 is pretty comfortable. So, you need to get them done. 17th. When is the 17th? That's on a Wednesday, right? February 17th. Next Wednesday. So you got some work to do this weekend. And if you can't do it, just consider yourself what? A loser. There you go. You're learning. Y'all are so smart. When you
Try to remember statistics from 1980.
or you forget something, or you forget to do something during the day, you call yourself a loser. That's what I do.
Yeah. I was about to email you last night.
Well, you should have.
I'm a loser.
I was really happy last night.
Because I'm a loser.
I was really happy last night, so it wouldn't have, and I didn't have that much to drink last night. I was really happy.
It was like 2 a.m.
I was up.
I just got off work.
I was up. I don't go to bed till like 3.
Well, I ended up having a half a bottle of wine, and I was like, I have got to go.
That half bottle of wine just helped you relax a little bit.
So I put on Charles Stanley, and I was out like a light.
Yep. All right. Give me a 5-number summary. Give me the mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, standard deviation, 5-number summary on this. So give you about 5 minutes to do that. It shouldn't take you that long. And then this is data driven. So I'm keeping refer to data driven because most of y'all are going to be doing frequency distributions. And we did that yesterday, or we did that the other day, frequency distribution. This is data driven. This is like test scores. So you're going to do it differently. In my 120 class, I had a student going, I was confused. I get all these formulas confused. So I went through and we did, this is one. I thought I actually drew it somewhere. Hold on. There it is. On a data-driven set, you use these 2 formulas. And data-driven is like what? Test grades. Got 5 or 6 test grades, you use these 2 formulas. With a frequency distribution, you have to use these 2 formulas. And that's where people were getting confused. Most of you will be using this on your surveys because your ages and your socioeconomic are in classes. So that's a frequency distribution. Okay? So, with that being said, There's your numbers. Did anybody add any questions that were different from mine? One person wanted to do the whole denomination thing in my 120 class, so she put questions about denomination. Anybody do anything different? Okay, you're not going to talk to me.
I kept it simple because everybody was being so squirrely.
Yeah, you kept it simple, so that's good. I just was wondering if anybody asked anything different. Are you what?
Are you gonna vote?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I kind of asked the same thing. I also asked the people who were raised.
You know, another question that might be good is this the first time you're voting? Or has this election made you want to vote this versus past elections or something like that? That would be a very good question to see if these candidates have inspired people to vote. And another question would be, what is your reason for voting? And then you could give a question, you could say candidates, you could say incumbent, or you could say media. And see which one of those three things have made a person motivated to vote for the first time, especially if it's an older person, like somebody that's 40-ish or 50-ish. That would be a very good question to ask. Get her done. don't understand something. Why do people say that you shouldn't have to pass a drug test to get the government check, but you have to pass a drug test to get a check from your employer?
Who said that?
Well, the political question is, should people that get government assistance be drug tested? Make sure they're not doing drugs.
Yeah,
And people say that that's not right.
I'm sure it's wrong.
They're probably doing the drugs.
Get assistance.
Yeah. Huh? No, this is illegal drugs testing. No, nothing is, we're not talking about prescription drugs. Now, if you pop positive for oxycodone and you don't have any ailments, then chances are that will be, then you don't have a prescription for it, then yeah, that'll probably be. But in other words, I mean, most of your jobs out there, you have to pass a drug test to get a check, to get an employment check. So what's the difference in getting an employment check and a government assistance check? You're getting money, and why isn't it okay to have a drug test here but not have a drug test here? That's my question. Why? Why is there a difference? Somebody was fussing about it on Facebook. That's why I was asking. Y'all finished? Huh? Well, let's pull up our handy dandy Excel spreadsheet. And there it is. I think I got the right numbers. There's the mean, the median, the mode, narrow range, mid-range, variance, standard deviation. There is your curve. Let me pull up my handy dandy marker. So here's your curve. Oops, that is a curve. Let's try a straight line. Now, sorry, curve. Drawing with a mouse is about impossible. It's easier to draw with this thing than it is to draw with those markers. And there is your mean. 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations. So 95% is going to fall between the ages of 15 and 38. Okay? Here's your 5-number summary. Have we covered 5-number summaries in here? I thought we did. All right. The first thing you do, with no stretching in class. The first thing you do is find your mean, find your max, and find your second quartile or your 50th percentile. That's all easy because they're non-calculated. Why? Because you've already calculated the median, which is the 50th percentile of the second quartile. That's there. And then the min is 19, and the max is 33. Now, to find the first quartile, you take the median of those numbers. So here is the median of all your numbers. How many numbers are above that 26? 3. So the middle one is your mean of the mean. Median of the median. How many numbers are above 26? So there's your median of the median there. So that is your 5-number summary. So we need to do a box plot because 5-number summary basically tells us to do a box plot. So we take our handy dandy straight line maker and we draw a line right there. Now we got to graduate. What does graduated mean? put tick marks on it. Yep, that's right, class. And the first tick marks we can put are these three right here. Should be pretty easy. What do you think this one is down here? Huh? 19. It's your min. So if that's the min, what's this one on the far right? I can't get anything past y'all. What's in the middle? Be careful. The middle is 25-cent word for, or mid-range is 25-cent word for middle. Now, a lot of people say, well, I thought that was the mean and the median. The mean and the median is based on your numbers. This is based on your min and your max. In other words, the middle of the number line. Basically, it's a location point. Alright? But we don't have enough tick marks on here. We need some more tick marks. So let's find the median of the median. I meant the midpoint of the midpoint. So what's 19 plus 26? 45. And what's half of 45? Or 23. So I'm going to put 23 right here. And what's 26 plus 33? 49. Half of 49 is 25. So actually it's 24.5. Yes, I know. But I'm going to say 25. No, that's not right. 26 plus 33 is 59. So half of 59 is 60. Okay. So there's my two midpoints there. Can I put more midpoints? Yes. The more the better. I'm going to put one here, 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 and here. This is basically interpolation. Finding the halfway point of the halfway point of the halfway point of the halfway point. So what's between 19 and 23? Well, count. What's the difference between 19 and 23? 4. Half of 4 is 2 plus 19 is 21. And you do that all the way down. 26 is 3, so just add 2 or 1. 24. You're just sketching, so you ain't like you got to be all crazy detailed. 26 plus 30, that'd be 28. 30 would be what, 31 and a half or 32, it doesn't matter. So now you got some points. Okay, you've used your min, you've used your max, so that just leaves you with 3 points. So I'm going to take my handy dandy green marker and I'm going to plot 20. 20 will be right here. And the orange is 32. Be right here. No talking in class. And then 26 is yeller. Oh my gosh. 26 fell where? Where did the median, where did the mean fall? Or the median? Where did it fall? On the middle, on the midpoint. What does that tell us? That's not rhetorical, I'm asking y'all. That the data is what? Tight. Thank you, class. I'm glad all the class answered that at one time instead of just 1 or 2 people. All right, now, what does this mean? Somebody tell me what this means with our data. What does that look like? Looks like the normal curve, Hubert. That's right, class. Look, it's symmetrical, and it's up in the what? Middle. In other words, you got the same amount here that you have what? Here. So that's what a box plot tells us. Will you be asked to do this in the real world? No, because most people, when you go into a meeting, what do they want to see? They want to see the normal distribution, and that's what most people want to see. You throw a box plot in there, some people are going to go, what's that? Okay. Remember, Something else for your survey. When I was a department head back in comprehensive studies, which is the third floor of Oconee Hall, I was department head for 98 to 2003. About 7 years, something like that. Whatever. It's 2003, and then I got my master's, and they wanted me to teach in arts and sciences. So I was a department head, and I used to have to give a report to the president every year. Just like the corporation, you have to give a report to the director or board or whatever. And the first, when I started here at Tech, I had two or three people I trusted, because when you go into a workplace, you have to trust somebody, because other people stab you in the back. You have to have somebody you trust. The three people that I trusted was the Secretary of Arts and Sciences when I was a student. She was in the foundation. She moved on to the foundation. She used to do my schedule for me. And then the Secretary in Financial Aid, she used to do my financial aid for me. And then my counselor. And my counselor back then is now one of the vice presidents. So when I started as a teacher, she was vice president. And I had to go to her and I say, what do I do? So I didn't want to go to my boss and say, I have no idea how to do this. And she said, you need to do this, this, and this. She said, always remember, when you give a presentation, when you do a chart, put it on a sixth grade level. Make sure a sixth grader can understand it. That's the best advice she gave me, because since then, whenever I do a graph, that pops into my mind. Have you ever had somebody that you can remember their birthday, no matter what? I remember a friend of mine, well, not a friend of mine, we grew up together, but his birthday is on February 3rd, and I remember it every single year, and I don't know why. I never give him a birthday present. I never say happy birthday, I just know he was born on February 13th. Well, this one thing that she told me, whenever I do a graph, I always think of what she says. And what she means is, board of directors or president of a company, are they going to want to get into a detailed mathematician discussion? No. They want to see something real short and real what? Sweet. So when you're given these, of course, I understand it, but you have to think about it. When you're doing a presentation or you're doing a graph, would you use the box plot, or would you use the curve, because most people used to see the curve. Okay? So that's it. Now, what would a skewed right look like? Well, skewed right, your yellow one right there, I can't believe it, would be down here. That would be a skewed right, because your data would be mostly on this end, like that. And skewed left would be what? Be over here. And that would be skewed right, because most of your data, if your median is to the right, that means most of your data is right there, because it's pulling the median to the right. Most of the data is over there. So you've got a regular test right here. That means the students made a decent grade. This test right here is too easy. And this test right here is too what? Too difficult. Okay? So not only do you have to draw the data, you have to understand what you're doing after you draw it. Now, this is data driven. What about, let's do it again. Let's make sure you know how to do it, because you got to do it this weekend. Let's do classes. So I'm going to take my handy dandy eraser and erase this. And let's go down here and put in some data. And let's say you're doing socioeconomic. Let's say you're doing 10,000, 14,000. I'm sorry, 13,999. No, 14,999. Sorry. I'm trying to think and do at the same time, and men are not good at that. We suck at, we call it multitasking. Then 15,000 to 19,999. And then 20,000 to 24,999. 25,000 to 29,999. 30,000 to 34,999. And of course, you know the people that you're surveying. So let's say that you're surveying a bunch of students. Should you put 70,000 and 50,000 or no? You should leave it like this. Okay, and then you'll go here F. And most of your students, so there's, let's say 25 here, and let's say 5 here, 4 here, 2 here, and 1 here. All right, now I want you to find the mean and standard deviation for this set of data. That's the frequency, F, yeah. So you got to find the midpoint. Victims who shoot back live longer. That's funny. I wondered when they would come out with it. You want to say something funny? Huh? What'd you say? I didn't hear what you said. No. This. Somebody just posted it. I just did. Where's that bad Trump man who's been calling you names? I mean, is that not what you think of? They forgot our walker. Yeah, I hope Trump gets elected so some of these actors will leave. Actors and actresses will leave. I just hope they, hold to it. You think they will? Nope. Because they couldn't survive anywhere else. I think it has something to do with, what is it called? Capitalism? go ahead and call the roll while y'all are ciphering. Today, the leather jacket day. Everybody's got on leather jackets today. Okay. So you're Kaniki and you're, hold on, you're Kaniki. Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. Oh gosh. You're John Travolta. Can't think of his name.
The old one or the number?
She's Kaniki because she's got a brown leather jacket on. I cannot think of his name. Okay, what's John Travolta's character's name in Greece? Zuko. You're Zuko. And you're Kaniki. Yep. Oh, it's my favorite. That and Gone with the Wind. My favorite movies. Excluding Sandra Bullock movies. So all the Sandra Bullock movies is my favorite. Except for that last one she did. I didn't watch it. Where she was a political advisor. She had blonde hair. Okay, people with black hair cannot have blonde hair. Period. It turns it orange looking. And her hair looked orange. Did y'all not see it in that movie? Did y'all not see it or y'all didn't watch it either? Yeah, I didn't. I like it when she plays America's girl. I don't like it when she plays some kind of domineering. I don't like that. All right, Miss Bork is here. Miss Bowen is here. Mr. Casey is here. Jones?
Yes.
There you are. Mr. Marshall's not here. That's who I was trying to remember who wasn't here today. Okay, Lancaster is here. Lindsay? Yeah, you're so loud. It's hard for me to remember you because you're so loud. And McCollum is here. What was that? No yawning, please. Owens? Owens. Going once, going twice, no Owens. Strickland? Yeah. And Williams. Who are you talking about? Oh yeah, he's not in the class anymore. He decided not to take it because he already took it before. We're bringing his grade point average up, but the college he's going to doesn't want it anymore. I mean, doesn't need the math anyway. So. And I don't know. I can understand that. All right. Now, when you're working on the Excel spreadsheet, one thing that I would tell you to do is break up your classes over here. And that's if you use an Excel spreadsheet. If you're not using an Excel spreadsheet, you don't need to break them up. because you can like do it in your head with your calculator. But I'm going to 10,000, 14,999, 15,000, 19,999, 20,000, 24,999, 25,000, 29,999, 30,000, 34,999. Make sure I didn't mess any of those up. All right, so there's my F. Now I need X. So now that I've expanded it, I can go through and pull out what I need to calculate. Watch. Parentheses, I can take 10,000 and add 14 and divide by what? And now I can just copy that down, and I feel good about myself. So now I'm going to take those two things and I'm going to center them because I can't stand for anything not to be centered. And there's my F and my X. What do I need for my formulas? Well, I need N. So what is N? The summation of X, Hubert. Thank you, class. Appreciate the interaction. It's always good to have a class that interact with you. What else do I need? Remember the formula. What do I need? I'm sorry. What? I need X squared. Good. A lot of people say, well, how'd you know that? You read the formula. And it's not that hard. I do have a quirk. I like for everything to be centered. I know that's weird, but I guess I'm OCD. Maybe it's just that I want to be organized for y'all. I'm trying to do it for y'all. All right, so equals F. That squared is going to be a BA number. And then you copy that down. All right, now what do we need? F times X. I'm so proud of y'all. F times X. Means y'all are actually reading. Sharp people. What else do we need? F times X squared. I'm impressed. Yep, times X squared, which is going to give you another BA number. So we need to move this down. I need to move this out. Yep. Copy that down. And of course we need those summations, don't we? No yawning in class, please. What happens when you get drunk on primary night? Shouldn't do that anymore. I know it's an exciting time, but, you know. All right. So we got f of x. What can we do with f of x? Somebody tell me. How about the mean? Yes, Hubert. Yes, class, that's right. Mean is equal to the summation of what? F times x divided by what? Good. There's your mean. So I've just given my survey out to 37 people, and the average salary is $15,000 a year, $15,607 a year. And I feel very special, and I've impressed my friends. Now I got to find my standard deviation. Standard deviation. Ooh, we better. That's going to be rough, so I better skip a couple of lines. And I'm going to put, what number goes first? N times what? Summation of f times x squared, the BA number. Why should I make sure that the BA number is right here? Because it has to be what kind of a number when it's finished? Positive number, Hubert. Why positive? Because you can't take the square root of what? A negative. So it has to be positive. So that number, this number right here, 37 times booga booga, it's going to have to be a huge number. Right, Zucko? All right. So now, this number raised to the what? Second power. Now, Mr. Casey, is that number bigger or smaller than this number?
I would say bigger.
It is. No, this number is bigger. 37 times this number, it's going to be a whole lot bigger. Yeah, you're right. Right?
Yeah, that takes it like plus 11.
Well, I'm trying to get it expanded out, and it's still not doing it. So it must be, hold on a second.
Might be like a whole page.
Yeah, it might be. We might be wrong. Might as well just quit. How about number, and I want to take it to 2 places. There we go. You feel good about yourself now, Mr. Casey?
A little bit better.
Okay. Now, what is 37 times 100? Well, that's going to be 3,700. And what is this? 3,300. So you know that your number is going to be bigger. And we're going to put that under n times what? Oh, well, if I could work the daggum computer. I suck. There we go. Equals this minus 1. And now we're going to start calculating. S is equal to equals this number times this number. And that's going to be a BA number, so we're going to move that. Control X, Control V. There. Hey, no. Still a BA number. Let me change that too. What was that? I didn't hear you. What?
I said I can't stop laughing.
Yeah, that really makes me feel good.
No.
I'll have to go out. You know what I'm going to have to do after class? I'm going to have to go get smokestacks put on my truck. Oh, God, that's $. Why does it say $? Oh, did I? I'm sorry. I thought I put numbers.
Well, if they're doing salaries, it's good, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't want to do that yet. There we go. Minus this number. And I'll go ahead and do the equals this number times this number. And remember, I don't care about the variance. Right now we're finding the variance, so I have to put this over. There we go. Because we're looking for standard deviation. Standard deviation is equal to, so let's go ahead and take this number minus what? This number. And that's over 1332. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go ahead and do that. S is equal to this number divided by this number. And then what am I going to do with that number? Raise it to the what? 0.15 power. So I'm going to take this number and raise it to the 0.5 power. Oops. So the average is $15,607. And standard deviation is equal to this guy plus what? This guy. And equal this guy plus this guy. And equals this guy minus this guy. And equals this guy minus this guy. So, in the people that you surveyed, 95% of the people that you surveyed are going to be between $5,000 a year and what? $26,000 a year. Now, you can do that with age groups. You can do that with socioeconomic. I can't think of the stuff that y'all are asking. You can't do it with qualitative data like religion. You're going to have to do the old faithful, you know. You're going to have to say that you're going to have to go with relative frequency. In other words, 20%, 20 out of 100 is Baptist. 5 out of 100, 5% is Catholic. 10 out of 100 or whatever, you're going to have to break it up into relative frequencies because you've got a qualitative class. Catholic, Protestant, atheist, believes in fish, believes in rocks, whatever. Okay? There are some people that worship rocks and fish and cows. All right, who's got questions for me? Nobody has questions. I've explained this stuff so well that y'all don't have any questions. Or you haven't started on it yet and you have no idea what's going on. One of those two things. Okay? So I'm expecting text messages and phone calls probably, what, Tuesday night? Guess what? I'm going to drink Tuesday night. So that way when you call me, I'll just hang up.
I heard you say your office hours were the Mexico, the Mexican.
Yeah, we can do that too. Now, we can do the office hours there too. Yeah, we can do that. All right, who's got questions for me? Any? All right, well, y'all get out of here. Work well for those that have started. For those that haven't started, you don't have much sympathy from me.
Do you want these cookies?
You gonna give me a cookie?
Cookies.
Did you bake them?
No, they're chips.
Well, don't know.
I like them.
Well, I guess so after eating a bag of cookies. See you, Zuko. You too. Bye-bye, Miss India. Y'all have a good day, too. Get to work on it. I don't want to hear any 12 dead grandmothers next week.
I don't have that many grandmothers.
Well, y'all have them quite a bit.